Hello, everyone. Wishing everyone a good Shabbos. Before our Erev Shabbos video of our Torah, I first want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who participated and who made our recent online fundraising campaign such a success. We not only reached our goal of $180,000, we even reached $200,000, which was an achievement that many people would have thought was impossible to accomplish, and yet we did it. And it is an incredible success for the shul, and it will power us for the upcoming year. I want to thank everyone who made a contribution to the campaign. Every single contribution is appreciated and supports the shul. I want to thank the matchers who were the foundation of the campaign before it officially launched. Thank you to the ambassadors who proudly represented the shul and encouraged others to participate and be part of the campaign. Thank you to Chaim and Carol in the office. There's a lot of office work that goes on in a short period of time for something like this. Thank you to Yitzi, of course. And finally, thank you to Jackie Brenner, who is the behind-the-scenes leader of all of this. Thank you, Jackie, and this success is a credit to you. In this week's Erev Shabbos video of our Torah, we will think about the very end of Shabbos davening, Ein Kelokenu and Pitum HaKetoret. In Pitum HaKetoret, we list the ingredients and describe the offering of the incense in the Beis HaMikdash, which happened every day, morning and afternoon. And indeed, the Sephardi practice is to say Pitum HaKetoret every day at the end of Shacharis. But the old Ashkenazi practice is to reserve it and to only say it on Shabbos. And of course, the question is why? If it's something that was offered every day, why do we say it only on Shabbos? And perhaps one reason is during the week, we try to make davening a little bit shorter to allow people to get to work. There is some truth to that. But early sources explain that the reason why Pitum HaKetoret is limited to Shabbos is because Pitum HaKetoret and the offering of the Ketoret is something very holy and special, and therefore reserved when we have the proper mindset on Shabbos. In the davening itself, we read V'im chisar achas mikol semaneha chayiv misa, that if someone would offer the Ketoret without one of the 11 ingredients, you would offer it improperly without the correct recipe, so one is liable to the death penalty. And the early sources say that therefore when someone recites Pitum HaKetoret, it has that same power. Therefore, these early sources say you should make sure to read it from a text and not by heart, because by heart, if you say it too quickly, you might make a mistake. You may omit something, and you may be chayiv misa. You may be liable to the death penalty. Now, whether or not that is literally true, but the idea seems to be is that Pitum HaKetoret is something which is very holy and very sensitive, and if done incorrectly, it could have negative repercussions, both in how you do it and how you say it. When we say it, we want to be fully focused and make sure we're saying it with a holy mindset. Something to consider at the end of davening when perhaps we're losing some of our focus. What was so holy about the Ketoret, the incense? The incense was the only offering offered within the actual sanctuary every day, not on the altar found outside. And the Ketoret was also what was offered in the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies, on Yom Kippur. And as the Torah says, Ki ba'anan e'er el kaparos, God appears within the cloud, that cloud of smoke, of the incense. So that represented Hashem's presence, such that when you were there and you felt it, you were as if you were feeling Hashem's presence. You were touching it, it was palpable. You were smelling it, you would taste it. The Torah represents that we can feel Hashem's presence near to us, and that is such a holy and powerful thing. But it is also dangerous to think that we can control Hashem's presence, and to think that only what we feel is the truth, and there is no greater truth than that. That is something dangerous, so it must be done exactly as the Torah says. If you miss something, it can have negative repercussions. It is interesting that before Pitum HaKetoret, we recite Ein Kelokenu, which is a poem, a piyut, which introduces Ketoret. And what does Ein Kelokenu say? We begin Ein Kelokenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkenu, Ein Kemoshenu. There is none like our God. There is nothing like God. There is nothing to which we can compare it to. Thus, there's no way to feel God, to understand God, to touch God. Mi kelokenu, mi kadonenu, mi kemalkenu, mi kemoshienu. We are almost in frustration. We give up. What could we find in the world that is like God? There is nothing like God. There's no way for me to approach Him or to connect to Him or to feel Him. But then we switch. Once we have made that declaration, once we have acknowledged that God will always, to some degree, be beyond us, incomprehensible, untouchable, never able to put Him into a box. No to Lelukenu, no to Ladunenu, no to the Malkinu, the Moshinu, but we praise our God. We can approach Him and connect to Him by praising Hashem. Baruch Elokeinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Mosheinu, and may He be blessed. We suddenly begin, perhaps, to feel His presence, to feel connected, that there should be a blessing of godliness, there should be more godliness. And then we say, Atahu Elokeinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Mosheinu. You are our God. Somehow there's been a revelation, a realization. We began by saying, there's nothing like Him. What can we find like Him? He's so hidden and incomprehensible. And now suddenly we stand before Him and we point to Him. And with pride and with love and with incredible joy, we say, you are our God. We're looking at you. We know you. And you know us. Atahu shiktiru avoseinu lefanecha. HaKetoret hasamim. The connection which introduces us to Pitum HaKetoret. And you are the one to whom our ancestors offered the incense in the Beis HaMikdash. You are the one that they were able to feel your presence in that smoke of the incense. And we could do the same. Ein Kelokeinu begins with Ein Kelokeinu. There is none like God. There's nothing like Him. There's no way to feel Him or to know Him or to understand Him. But it ends with Atahu Elokeinu. You are our God, whose presence we feel as if with the same palpability, the same fragrance, the same joy. When we smell, when we can touch and taste the smoke of incense. We are meant to feel Hashem and find joy in Him and feel connected to Him. But we can't think that only what we taste, only what we feel, only what we know and understand is the truth. The truth is beyond us. God is greater than us. And so before we hope to approach Him, to touch Him and to taste Him, we must begin with Ein Kelokeinu. We know that we'll never understand everything. We'll never know God perfectly. We'll always be reaching. At the same time, God is not meant to be an idea that cannot be felt, that cannot be experienced. We begin with Ein Kelokeinu. But if you begin with Ein Kelokeinu, then you can reach Atahu Elokeinu, to look at God, to say, you are Him, I am your servant. Atahu shiktira avoseinu lefanecha HaKetoret hasamim. You are the one to whom our ancestors offered incense, and like them, I hope, I ask, I want, and I do. I feel your presence in my life. I can feel you. I can touch you as if I can taste you. You are the God that is that close to me. That is hopefully what we feel in moments throughout our lives, throughout the week, and particularly so on Shabbos. Good Shabbos, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.